welcome back to this channel, or welcome for the very first time if you have just stumbled upon this video. So my name is Julia. On this channel I like to create tarot pick-a-card readings and other tarot videos, and I am a huge astrology enthusiast, so I like to combine tarot, stars, and the spirit to deliver you the most accurate reading possible. So if you're interested in receiving a weekly tarot reading regarding your upcoming week every Sunday, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell. And this week we will have 3 groups, and we will now jump straight into the group selection. So meditate on your crystals and see you in your reading. Hello and welcome to your group selection. So today we will have 3 groups, and in this reading we will start from the other side today. So this is group number 1. This is going to be group number 2. Beautiful labradorite stone we have here. And this is group number 3. And now let's plant our feet on the ground, our hands on our upper thighs, and let's take our 3 conscious deep breaths. So inhale and exhale. Inhale, feel like the air is flowing through your body, how your belly is expanding. And exhale, feel it going back in. Inhale and exhale. And now let your gaze wander across the stones, and you can ask yourself either in your thoughts or out loud, what is my upcoming week going to look like? What are my next 7 days going to look like? What do I need to know for my next week? And try to feel which stone you are feeling more drawn towards. Not so much with your eyes, but more with your gut feeling. And you can pause the video and meditate on the crystals longer if you need to do so. And as soon as you are ready, go down, head to the description box and click on the according timestamp for your group, and see you in your reading. So, hello group number 1. So if you chose this stone right here, then this is going to be your reading, and I am now thinking which deck I feel like using. I feel like using the Druid Tarot for you, group number 1. So let's see what the upcoming 7 days have in stock for you. So, yeah, 7 of Wands reversed. A flipped one. 4 of Pentacles. So interesting, group number 1. So with the 7 of Wands reversed, I feel like you are having a tough time, and in connection with the 4 of Pentacles, actually defending something that you feel is maybe trying to be taken from you in a way that seems maybe unjust to you. It seems like you need to hold on to something, and that isn't coming easy to you. But I feel like for you it's important to know that regardless of the events happening right now, justice is going to win in this one. So you will know best if you have a situation in your life which is right now kind of resonating with this. But I feel like it might be about material things. You might be maybe involved even in maybe some legal process or something where you are fighting over something that is yours and you deserve it and it is yours, but it is as if you are supposed to defend it even though you should not. So, oh, and I just noticed we also have the Lovers reversed healing ring in the deck. So let's see. I have the Page of Swords here with the Princess of Swords in this deck. Okay. So these came out together. And we have Five of Cups here. And the Priest. The Priest. So group number 1, for you, I definitely feel, also with the Eight of Wands reversed here, you're having a tough time, as if, I feel, it feels like, and bottom of the deck is, by the way, Six of Wands upright, so also a very interesting combination. You have a lot of wands here, and 2 of those cards are in reverse, so you have the Nine of Swords there. But it's in a position where, I mean, they all came out together here. They came in one batch. So please let me clarify the Nine of Swords. Let me clarify the Nine of Swords. We have Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, nines. I feel group number 1 for you, something is about to reach completion, something that has been spiked with quite some obstacles for you. It wasn't an easy game at all for you. And I feel this might be work related, this might be career related, but this also might involve huge material weight in it, let's say. And I feel like, you know, with the Wheel in reverse there and the Lovers in reverse, so the Eight of Wands, it is as if something is out of rhythm, something is out of sync, and that is what is giving you a very hard time defending something that technically is supposed to be yours. But on the other hand, it might be that actually group number 1, let me let me put a clarifier on the Six of Wands. Please clarify Six of Wands. Yeah, King of Cups. I feel like that thing that you are fighting for and that is yours to keep even, or that you are trying to keep, that might not be something that is actually really resonating with another part of you, that might be longing for something else actually. And it might be that you are in some sort, I feel this mirrors so well a situation that we had last week in one reading actually, where one of the groups was very much about sacrificing your personal beliefs and your principles and maybe your personal ideas that are very meaningful to you for money or material stability or success. But this kind of seems to be the aftermath of that. So let me maybe know in the comments below actually if you know which group I'm talking about and if you chose that group in the previous week. Because I feel that some of you who are watching this might be coming from that group. Because this basically is the aftermath of something that you have accomplished with which you are actually now facing different issues of focus, issues that you feel like you thought you could defend this and you might have bitten off more than you could chew. So it feels as if group number one, this is something that initially was meant to be something that brings you in some sort of glory and satisfaction. But in fact it didn't. So I feel like you, group number one, need to deal with this. And it really feels as if you really kind of got maybe deceived by your first perception or idea of that thing or that project or that goal that you had. Because now it proved to be sort of burdening, I hear. It is burdening. It is burdening, while also I keep looking to this King of Cups, which is depicted in this deck very much being somebody who has, you know, if we look at him, he's having this wolf behind his throne, and he seems to be really, on one hand, very peaceful and satisfied, but if we look closer, it even feels like this fatigue and this lack of motion has made him disinterested in things. I get that also it might have been something that you were first really passionate about and then you lost your interest in it because it didn't give you the fulfillment that you expected. I feel that that somehow might be your theme in this reading, group number one. But let's now figure out what actually are the points that you could / should focus on during the upcoming 7 days. And for that, I like to use the Rider-Waite actually. So let's now just see. And it's interesting because I also see with the Page of Wands in that position where it is, you might be, and with the Wheel reversed, you might be someone, oh my god, we have the Ten of Wands reversed here. So yeah, your energy and your potential at this moment seems to be so blocked. So blocked. And what I was talking about with the Page of Wands and the Wheel reverse there and the Lovers, I feel like you might benefit if you surrender to surrounding circumstances, if you stop trying to control those things, stop trying to control so desperately, maybe because you started this journey and now it didn't bring the fruits that you might have been expecting or wanting, and now you kind of want to draw back from that. That's also some sort of energy I get. And now we have here the Nine of Swords reversed. Yeah, I think group number one, for you, it is really important to maybe, if by now this resonates really well with you, like making that choice or pursuing something which actually proved not be as satisfying and beautiful and extraordinary and rewarding as you assumed it would be, first stop kind of scrutinizing yourself and punishing maybe internally yourself for making that decision, because that is something that I see some of you definitely might be doing. Also with the Eight of Swords, I feel like your potential at this moment really is relying on step-by-step approach and taking action little by little and really paying attention to the details surrounding you, and not so much with the eye and like the cognitive mind, but also feeling out what a situation has in stock for you, what the potential outcome of that is. Really trust your gut feeling, because rational mind at this point, and also your force and your drive that you might be relying on very much, and you might have strong fire placements. So let me check out. Yeah, we have Mars here. We have Pisces here though, and 11th house. With the King of Cups, we have a strong water card in this reading, but I feel like with Mars and 11th, I feel for the majority of you, this might be work-related situation with colleagues or team, or also something maybe in overall in your social circles. I feel you might be people who either way might have a very fluent relation between your circle of acquaintances and your work field. So you might be one of those people who really has some close connections at work, for instance, and just, you know, likes to spend time also outside the work hours with those people. So it might be that case for you, for some of you, not for all. But we have Mars here, and I feel that that is a very much also in that combination with Pisces. I feel again your drive and your motivation somehow is very inhibited by the lack of emotional reward that you get here and the inspiration that you were expecting to get from this. And I feel like your task for the upcoming week might really be coming to terms with this, in that sense that you let go of this and don't be so hard on yourself with that. Because I feel like I was in the beginning saying something like, you know, bitten off more than you can chew, though the Seven of Wands are not necessarily about that, but especially in this deck, how it is depicted. While in the Rider-Waite deck, in the traditional deck, we have this depiction from the front side, you know. And what is actually the bottom of the deck for this one? Oh, Two of Cups reversed. We are talking about connections, work connections and stuff, and also not getting out that emotional fulfillment. For some of you, I feel it even might be that you changed work environments or changed teams, and this now doesn't feel as satisfying to you as you hoped it would. It doesn't bring you that salvation or relief, or, you know, that joy, that whatever you were seeking when pursuing this. And I feel for some of you that has become a challenging situation. So I still want to find out how you could be more forgiving to yourself, how you can be easier on yourself, and how should you actually move on in this situation. With number one. For this, I'm going to use the dark mirror that I like to use for shadow work questions. Everything that is kind of more on, you know, the more sore and hidden side of our minds and souls. So yeah, see those wands reversed, the actions are inhibited. So are the messages, I feel, for you. So let me now do something. So I will basically create 3 groups out of this. And we'll pick this one. So the child I was meant to be. A very interesting card for you to get here, because it has a lot to do with that emotional satisfaction, where we get it from. And what instantly comes to my mind is children have that ability to find bliss and joy in very small things, and in some things that we consider very self-explanatory, very uninteresting, very boring, and very much take for granted and just as a standard thing to exist or to have in adult life. So for you, it also, for some of you, group number one, and I feel for a lot of you actually, it might be about that situation doesn't necessarily give you that fulfillment or satisfaction or joy because it's the wrong place to be, or because you made the wrong decision. Because in fact, for a lot of you, that might not even be the case, but it might be the case that also maybe even through that journey and through pursuing this, I feel some of you might have really kind of lost connection to that initial goal or that initial thing you were looking for when pursuing this. I feel like this just fell out as an accident. So, and it's fascinating how, okay, now we get a bunch falling out. It's fascinating how hard that answer portion here came through for you, group number one. And I feel that is actually the energy that you might have. You feel very blocked, and you feel that it is there, like that potential is there, that idea is there, that drive is there. We have fragmentation, we have colorless angel, we have sacrifice. And colorless angel talks a lot about, losing that joy in things, and kind of losing that connection to everything that is vivid and is making you, your heart just beat faster, you be excited about things. And when that vanishes, we feel very empty, and we start questioning a lot of things, and that void sometimes gets filled up with things that even are not very legitimate, but they creep in because they get the space there. But let's check for the book for the Dark Mirror deck, because it has very interesting and nice quotes usually in there. And the child I was meant to be, let's start out with that instantly. So let's see. An instant of clarity is the light I needed. So to go forward is to go backward, as hope heals the wounds of the past. There is little darkness in this card. It is a card of connection with ourselves. So many times it feels like dream. It's fleeting, uncertain, and yet clear. Remember how I talked about losing that notion for the initial goal that you had and the initial vision or dream you had when pursuing this situation here? The moment you close your hand to grasp it, it turns into fairy light and disappears. But it remains as a lingering smell, an ephemeral feeling of light and peaches and blossoms. It is faith. It is hope. It is a warm smile at the other side of the forest of smoke and mirrors. We can be whole again. We can be pure again. We can be happy again. No matter what we did, we can. Just know this as a gift of light among the cruel darkness. It brings no road, sometimes no solace, but it can become a seed of hope, a wind of change, a place for safety in the storm. Even if it's gone, it was definitely here. So I feel that card sums up and speaks a lot about the points that I already kind of pinpointed with the reading before getting to this card. And I hope that this really sunk with you in a way, because I feel this is something that fits well with the message in this reading. And fragmentation. Fragmentation is again, reminds me how I was talking about lack of focus in some point. So when rage is projected inward, destruction joins confusion, and we break. Losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, a descrescendo of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. So really, group number one, I feel that for you, you kind of really have, some of you might have really lost that touch and feel for what you initially wanted to achieve when you pursued this thing. It proved to be something extremely challenging. you did protect it, or you still are. You are still fighting for that, and it is the right thing for you. But somehow on the way you got so strung out, I feel, and now you have kind of lost that focus where previously you were putting all that one's energy in there, and now it's kind of, you know, vanished somewhere. Like there's a veil lingering above that, like some kind of fog. It's really foggy, like fog is what I get. So again, that's describing it pretty well. And with colorless angel, yeah, that was the sentence that I remember was very, you know, sitting differently if it resonates. It is better not to feel rather than feeling pain. You know, feeling like being rather disinterested and isolating yourself from that than feeling that or seeing that. Apathy is the crowned king of nothingness and the shining queen of whatever. Like it is again, it speaks a lot about that loss of focus, I feel, in your situation. And with sacrifice, we have, even if I have to break apart, as long as it serves a purpose. So speaks, I feel, a lot about this situation here. And I feel you might have, you might be at this stage now, or you might have been before you entered this kind of blocked state. I feel that blocked state for some of you might stem from this, or vice versa. This burnout, in a sense, might be a follow-up of this situation. So there is a strong power in sacrifice. Our fears, our hopes, they are all chains to a small world. Our sense of self is a small petty creature of uncertain resolve and shaky horizons. With sacrifice, we renounce our sense of self. We accept to be lost. We accept to be shaken and cut and bruised and hurt and burdened and locked and stricken and despised and gossiped and betrayed, and be misunderstood and be left alone, to rot, to die, with just words of thanks while the world goes on over our broken dreams. But when we drown our sense of self to sacrifice, we are also a greater person. We're screaming, I exist, I make the difference. We accepted a price to pay, and we used our blood and tears as currency. That give us the right to stand tall. So yeah, group number one, I feel like you have really, honestly, like, it might have been a very dark and intense description, but I feel for the majority of you seeing this and with whom this sits correctly and resonates, for you it really has been a fight. It has been a thing, and you have put in a lot in here. And even though you might not maybe stand exactly the same way behind this action or this initial pursuit, you have done immense things to make this possible and to be at this point where you are. And even though it might feel like not the right place and you might be guilt tripping yourself very much on some things, it is something that you can be proud of. You can be proud of that. Like with the Nine of Pentacles, that's also a card of being proud of what you accomplished and what you have, and taking that in pride. And also for some of you, you are so close to completion of something. You are so close to actually reaching that state that you're looking for. That you can get these wand cards here on pride. You are very close to it, I feel. And you can do it, but you need to come to terms, I feel, not even so much with the work side of these things or the effort, because you have put in a lot of that by now. I clearly see that here. Also with these cards here in the descriptions, definitely you have fought your bloody portion for this. Like, this didn't come to you just like that on a silver platter. But now you really, I think, need to come to terms with the emotional aftermath of this, I feel. So let's now jump straight into how you can actually care for yourself, and how can you be more gentle towards yourself? How can you ease these hard feelings you might have towards yourself, towards others maybe as well, but how can you ease that? How can you care for yourself during the next 7 days? So how can they care for themselves? How can they care for themselves? How can they care for themselves? you might actually have a hard time with this group number 1. It's interesting because previously the Druid deck was, you know, being super active, flickering all over, and here we really had a tough time. So we have a Forest, Breath, and we have Whale, Interruption. So yeah, take a break, definitely. Group number 1, take a break and take it easier on yourself. Go out in nature, reconnect with nature. For those of you actively working with meditation, stick to that practice. That is helping you tremendously at the moment, even if you don't realize it. And overall, you might be somebody who's connecting with their spirit guides or just with their higher self, with their emotional side way better when being also maybe close to the water. And in nature, definitely out in nature. Even during this weather and this season, this might be very beneficial for you. But the whale overall speaks a lot about, also with this depiction here, you have this huge animal which also usually stays under the surface, breaking the surface, and this immense weight for 1 second in time being visible and being displayed out of its usual element. This card speaks a lot about getting out of your comfort zone. This is all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I wish you a very productive and wonderful week, and see you in the next video. Bye! Hello group number 2. So if you chose this labradorite here, then this is going to be your reading, and just going to put it a little bit more here to the side, so I have it inside. A very beautiful stone you chose there, my god. And blue stone, and you know, labradorite has a variety of colors in it, in a sense, but especially this one has a very strong blue tint, and I just know kind of had that weird muddy speaking and blue and pro chakra. Maybe that's a topic for you. Let's see. So for you, group number 2, I feel like using the... You know what? I have another deck in stock that I feel like using for you. So it's the Zentaro. Just need a second to get that one. It's a beautiful deck, and it's created by combining tarot and also quotes from Osho's work, and a very interesting deck with a very interesting interpretation of imagery and beautiful quotes also. So either way, also symbolism in this deck is used in a very interesting way and a very different way than in the traditional tarot, while still corresponding with that very much. So let's map out your essential events, feelings, thoughts, ideas for the upcoming week. So we have moment to moment there. And I haven't worked with that deck in a while now, but I really felt like getting it off for you, group number 2. So, innocence. Playfulness. Somebody's living in the moment there, so... Or you might... Actually, might find it a little bit challenging, but I feel group number 2, you're someone who has really stayed in touch well with your inner child, I feel. And while currently things might make it difficult for you to access that resource, it is something that is important for you. It is important for you feel like that came out reversed, but you know, here though, interesting. I feel like putting it here like this. The source. I think it's the Ace of Wands in this tarot, so the inner voice reversed. Trust. And I felt like getting like a clarifier for this one, and I just kept shuffling after this one, so yeah, I feel you also might be indulging in a way in some material goods, maybe in a sense, and maybe that is also a distraction, like somewhat lavish lifestyle, or at least choices regarding that, or having the resource for, I mean, I'm using those very extreme words in a sense because the depiction is very over dramatized. You have this dude basically sitting here, you know, with golden pillows, cocktail, and like a very luxurious gown and stuff, but on the other hand, you can see the glass in the mirror kind of just being in shadows and distorting and kind of eating up the imagery and the scenery, but also in another sense he is descending maybe from that. It really depends on how you look at it. So, but it is in combination with the inner voice in reverse. So for you, group number 2, I really feel like life in the material world and life, like the material aspect of life, has somehow really made it hard for you to express yourself in a way that would be according to your nature and that would be your nature. But it hasn't necessarily like suffocated it or something. It's just as if there is a veil between this, as if all that material pleasure and all that material success and gain you get in the material part of your life, that is kind of making it easy to be distracted, and that is in a sense maybe slightly disconnecting you from what you actually really used to or still do take joy in. And let me clarify the source. Let me clarify the source. We have stress, and that's the Seven of Wands reversed. And we have Eight of Swords here. And that all together with, just for the sake of convenience, I'm gonna put it here. But I feel now this image is becoming very complete and very clear. So bottom of the deck is Patience reversed, which is, I believe, let me check. I believe the rainbows were the pentacles in this deck, but I just want to be 100% sure. Because as I said, I haven't worked with it in a while. And I even don't know at the moment why, but I kind of felt very drawn to the other decks recently for a longer time. But I like this deck because of its, as I said, untraditional interpretation of the meanings of the tarot symbolics used, while still staying true to it. So, and yes, that's right. The rainbows are indeed the pentacles here. You know, with the Seven of Pentacles reversed, why I'm paying so much attention to this card, because it is talking about resource, about us carrying potential and the seed for something that can grow and evolve and make us grow and evolve as well. And you have with this card here, which is abundance. So with abundance and having these three earth cards here, which are very much talking about your potential, your abundance, your like this card even has some full energy to it. And the Two of Pentacles in the traditional tarot are this young man balancing those two coins. And in this interpretation, in this deck, it really highlights this playful and that energy when you are doing it seemingly effortlessly. You are enjoying it instead of being stressed out by it. But I feel at the current moment, this thing, whatever you're dealing with there, it is making you stressed out. Though honestly, by your nature, you are someone who actually can embrace those changes, embrace those challenges, and see them really as over dramatizing this and over illustrating this as a game which is about trying out things that will work and get you ahead, and maybe you discover a new way to do something while doing this and exploring this. I believe you, group number 2, you might be some very explorative people who are very attracted to adventure, who are very curious about the world. And I'm just interested what actually is the thing. Let's maybe get to your focus column actually. What is the thing that made you feel so constricted in a sense and gave you those feelings of guilt? And maybe I also feel that you might recently have gone through an experience which kind of bruised you in the sense of trust. I get that trust thing is something, it is reversed here because maybe some of you, group number 2, really needed to learn or just went through a situation which urged you to learn not to trust everybody and not to be as free and as careless around everyone as your nature might tell you to be and as you might feel to be, which is completely legitimate and very, very beautiful, because that is an energy that some people really need to work towards to really even feel that for once and tap into this. And to you, group number 2, I feel to the majority of you, it comes very naturally. You just are like that. You kind of radiate that. And I feel some of you also are, very infecting with that. Like you really make your environment, like I look at this card constantly and I feel like you really make your environment kind of catch that spark, and really you have that ability to inspire people. And I get you might have either some Sagittarius energy, but also, to be frank, I feel it might be also, even though the cards are not at all like that, but I feel like some of that could be strong Pisces placements maybe. Let me just roll the dice a bit. They have Sagittarius and Sun here, and 4th house. Interesting. So, for some of you, family matters might actually play into this. For some of you, it really might be. It might be about family. Might be about siblings maybe as well. But overall, especially like that Sagittarius energy here, that Sagittarian energy and that expression, and also that the sun was there, that expressive and outwarded way. I feel like that is something that also the next week has very much in stock of you, or for you. Why do I keep like? Interesting. I feel like that actually, Sagittarius and those things, let's get into the focus column. Maybe your big mouth actually got you into some trouble. I'm saying that in all loving ways because I'm a Sagittarius rising myself, and I, first off, no one when I see one, I believe, even in a reading. And also, I kind of do know what the struggles at times are. And those things we sometimes spit out, dear Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Us Sagittarians might be all okay with that, but we sometimes really take it too far. Let's be honest. So the dream, the 6 in reverse there, 6 of Cups. So also some remnants to the past. Then we have courage here. And that is, I feel, something that is right now really, that is something where I feel you are, by the way, bottom of the deck is letting go. And intensity. Letting go and intensity, courage. Healing, harmony, the dream. I feel for some of you it really is that some of you, and by the way, we now get those watery cards here, so in fact I feel it might be a personal matter for you, a very personal matter, either family relationship or a very close relationship in your life overall. And I feel that somehow with the past, either you have had an encounter with someone again recently, I feel, remember to, which made you think about that topic again or deal with that topic again. But overall, I feel that very much has somehow sparked a process in you, which is making you reevaluate you expressing yourself. And maybe Sagittarius rising and sun and moon, I know that sometimes, with that placement astrologically, Sagittarius energy is, on one hand, extremely explorative, broadening horizons, philosophy, growth. But on the other hand, it also might result in a person with strong placements of that sort maybe abandoning some relationships or family ties that, in fact, at some point show up as something that, one day you wake up and you feel like, oh, that's missing. That's missing, and I actually never thought that might be something so important for me. I never thought that might be something that is so essential for me and is the root and maybe even the source of my energy to follow all these other passions and callings and desires and interests that I have. And so in the end, sometimes we end up putting our focus on something, either a journey, a pursuit, a goal, a project, or just, a personal dream or idea, which is making it hard for us to stay in touch with family, stay in touch with friends. And at one moment in time, it might feel like, maybe we have missed out on something. Maybe we should have put more effort or energy into that. But honestly, group number 2, don't be too hard on yourself with that, because I feel you actually are someone who is very much aware of those ties and how important they are to you. But it's also that, especially let's say in the I feel in the first part, like first half of our lives, we are very much focused overall, regardless of placements, etc. Humans overall are very much, especially in the current shape of society, focused on gathering their own experiences, getting their own life set up. I believe we have kind of evolutioned and evolved away from that pattern that still used to be normal and the average case for the generations of our parents, for instance, which were very much, establishing the framework for our lives very early. And sometimes even before your mid-20s, you already were married, having a family, having children, and basically knew in what direction your life at least is supposed to go in some sense. Why am I spanning out so much with that? Because I feel group number 2, that somehow is a topic for you currently. It is, and the Four of Pentacles popping up there, and if I feel like you are holding on to something. Yeah, and I get here as a clarification, compromise. Regardless, if you sacrificed either your personal growth or you sacrificed maybe some personal connections, relations, ties to people, I feel group number 2 for you, you are currently coming to terms with this and you are finding your compromise and balance with this. But I feel that is a very hard for you, because it involves for you to either trust in a situation where you really have a hard time to, and you really have a hard time to let go there, even though you usually might be that person who kind of goes with the flow and finds excitement in everything and really is down to stuff. But I feel you are not a person who is easy in compromise, group number 2, most of you. Most of you have a really all or nothing approach in life. I feel that, and that is very, again, Sagittarian energy here. But the other side of Sagittarius is this very wise and very deep side, which actually, in this case as well, I am very sure understands that at some point we need to compromise. At some point, that playfulness and that freedom and that growth that we can achieve and experience and also share with others, you first off need to care for those relationships and really nurture those connections with the people with whom you actually want to share it. So I feel like for you it has been a time where your drive and your passions and your abundance is kind of getting some sort of recalibration, let's say. And I feel for you it has to do with you coming to terms to maybe some actions in the past regarding family members or very close friendships that you might not be very proud of in hindsight. And it is okay. It is okay, because we all, I believe very strongly at some point in our life, have done things that were the best we could do at that current moment, and it is just a sign of growth and that we have really moved to a wiser, better, and stronger place. If we look back at it and be like, my God, like this wasn't maybe the best move to do, but couldn't help myself back then. That was the best I could do. And it's just a good thing that I do know better now what I would have done instead, or what I would do instead now. But that's also okay. Like, leave it at that. There is no sense or purpose in scrutinizing your past self over this. So while I don't feel that is a huge struggle for you, but it is. It is underlying all of this, and just know, group number 2, you are on a very good way, and you definitely keep tapping into that source and that playfulness and your energy that you have. Keep doing that and recalibrate it, and it's fine. It is okay. Changing our way of expression or action in the world is entirely fine, and it is just a sign of our growth and adaptation, and that doesn't mean compromising on our true self. It just means that we also take into account the needs and feelings of other people and maybe of ourselves. Maybe there are needs that we were not aware of. So that is a good thing to do. And now let's jump straight into how you can care for yourself best during the upcoming week. Because for you, I feel, with all this recalibration thing going on here, I still feel, though, group number 2, you will have a major glow-up moment. I keep looking at this card here, and you will have your beautiful stage moment. You will have it, and you will share it with other people. And it doesn't mean that you will have it literal, but you might experience that beautiful evening with your friends or family or spouse, where you really feel like, you know, this is me, and I still have that ability to shine. And you will feel, okay, I might have changed a little bit how I put myself out there, but I still am myself, and I'm not compromising on myself, but I'm just, you know, improving, evolving. So for you, first there came out 2 cards, which one is River, Motion, then we have Stone Creature, Awareness, and then we have Volcano, Instability. So a volcano also talks a lot about creative energy. Very much relates to the source, I feel, here. So on the other hand, it also has to do with destruction and a burst out, you know. And I feel like for you that might happen within the next 7 days, 10 days. You might experience that. You might have that moment where really you get that rebirth, because volcano also talks a lot about rebirth. Once the soil is burned, it is also immensely fertilized from all those ashes, all that lava that has flown there. It is immensely fertilized, and it gives immense potential to new harvest, better than before. So that might be something that you will experience, but I feel that the aftermath of that is very much going to be about finding yourself in a slightly different place while still being you. And for you here, literally, motion, river, I feel like you really recharge being close to the water and moving, which is very according to Sagittarius. So by now I am really sure you are Sag, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And for you, really staying moving, working out, going out hiking, being close to water, that might be very helpful for you. That is grounding you, but that also keeps your juices flowing. So, you know, that is something, keep doing it if you are not doing it anyways on a very regular basis. And then awareness, I feel for a lot of you, again, meditation could be extremely beneficial, but also awareness exercises. So while having this component with movement and kind of releasing that energy that has pent up, having that other component with awareness exercises, really tapping into certain parts of your body, feeling into them, you know, flexing them, then relaxing them. Look into that a little. I feel that might be very helpful for you. So group number 2, thank you for tapping into this reading. I wish you a wonderful, inspiring, creative week. Please be yourself, tap into your abundance, but also respect your boundaries, respect others' boundaries. And I wish you a blessed and beautiful week, and see you in the next reading. Bye! So welcome, group number 3. And if you chose this beautiful stone, then this is going to be your reading. So what deck should we use for you, group number 3? I feel like using the Rider-Waite. So let's map out the essential events, ideas, feelings, just information regarding your upcoming week. So, Eight of Wands. Oh, this is now quite well, so let's see. Let's come to terms with this. Okay, so group number 3, you need to get into action. You need to get into action, but proceed carefully. Proceed carefully, especially regarding personal decisions, because in the end, there might be something about a situation that you don't see. But that should also not be the reason holding you back from action. It just means that you need to be careful and cautious, but it doesn't mean that you need to stop. That you... Yeah, and that came out like that, and I feel it is supposed to stand like that as well. So... we have the World and the Page of Pentacles here. So, you know, again, earth energy, lots of earth energy here, but also with the Wands, we have quite some fire here. Interesting, because group number 3, I feel like you are in some sort of process of, and bottom of the deck is 10 of Pentacles reversed, and the next after this would be, by the way, the High Priestess, and I feel like including her in the selection today. I feel like they belong together. Also with the Moon reversed there. I feel like you, group number 2, might have entered some sort of new beginning, some sort of new endeavor. Or are about to do so. And part of you, I feel, especially on your own side and on your personal side of this story, you might be constantly kind of flinging between overacting and acting too quickly and too impulsively, or not doing anything. Like there's this all or nothing attitude I kind of sense here, group number 3. But in fact, what would get you unstuck in this situation, I feel, because I get this feeling of stuckness, but it's not because you're not inhibited or blocked by something on the outside. It is also even not really on your inside. It is your choice or decision or how you decide to act that is doing that, I feel, group number 3. I feel that is the reason somehow. So, group number 3 for you. It's difficult because you have this exciting and somewhat like aroused, not in a sexual sense, but like a very irritable and very potent energy floating here somehow. That you really, like, you have that itch to do something. You have that itch to do something and to be really, like, to really get into it. On the other hand, you are aware of the fact that something might not be really known to you and you might not be aware of everything in the situation. So you end up not doing anything in the end, while maybe proceeding step by step and being careful, but kind of tiptoeing your way forward would be, I believe, the way how you could get could get forward in the situation. Also, what I feel though, what might be inhibiting you, some of you, is maybe that you also are not certain about the material resource you have for this endeavor or pursuit we are talking about here. or you might feel that you don't have maybe the education or just the status to do that, whatever we are talking about here. And group number 3, you will know the particular situation which I'm talking about, because in a general reading we cannot map out every single detail of this. But I feel for you, you might have been going through this stage of understanding that maybe things that have provided you satisfaction for a very long time, and this seems to be a topic amongst all groups today. Again, a very general energy, re-evaluating what satisfies us, what fulfills us. For one group, it was very, very clear and very blunt. Like the cards were very clear about this thing. You were expecting it to make you happy and to fulfill you, but it doesn't. But where is the issue? In the thing? Is it in you? Is it in the surrounding world? Is it in something else? With the other group, it was very much about what do we choose to put our energy into? What do we choose to pursue? And in the end, does it reward us with, even if it does reward us, what is the price we sometimes pay for that? So here I feel it is again, you may be realizing that something initially doesn't satisfy you as much anymore as it used to. Maybe you even feel somewhat burdened and restricted by whatever you have accumulated or built there. And especially in your family circle or your friends circle, you might have even opened up or realized through conversations or connections with those people that your value system might not be the exactly same anymore as it used to just some time ago. On the other hand, that brings that conclusion with it, that you maybe need to act now differently according to that new idea you have. And I also feel, again, this has come up in the past weeks here and there, one now and again. And while it is globally a very transformational energy at the moment, I feel for you, this is now a lot about evaluating how you should act on this transformation that you're going through. And in fact, to be fair, I can tell you, pursuing that, to be like to map out that action, to map out that decision that you need to take, pursuing that, it will come for you with learning, with a new beginning. It will come for you with letting go of not only maybe that belief system or that idea or plan that you had for a very long time, but also of your vision, how maybe even your entire life, or that particular thing that is now changing for you, how the outcome of it would look like. How would the final result of that particular area of life or that project, or that basically that area of yourself, now that it is transformed, the results and the continuous version of that will look different, and it will not match anymore with that vision that you had for yourself for such a long time. And I even don't know why I'm rambling so much about this perception and vision thing. I feel like this really might be something where you actually, this might be that thing where you are struggling. What is actually the final image or the final vision that you have of your life, of that particular area, of that relationship, of that project or career? And this might be, for a lot of you, this might be about something very creative, very personal actually, maybe even a creative project, maybe, but somehow I sense relation to work, I sense relation to productivity here, not necessarily work, but productivity. So I don't think this necessarily is about a relationship. I feel this is a lot about something, about being creative, putting yourself out there. I feel it is about that. And what is that final vision, that final goal that you actually see for yourself? I think it is really, really important for you to figure out that. What is that thing, that sustainable, like what is that final image that awaits in the end of that sustainable plan? And somehow I get that sustainable thing. I get sustainability. I get longevity, long term. I get all those words here somehow. And that with the Page of Pentacles, you know, he's a very slow one. Things happen slowly, but they stay. Things happen slowly, but they stay. And maybe it's also, again, not about rashly, you know, tossing all your visions from your previous versions or plans apart. It is not about like discarding that entirely now from 100 to 0. But I feel your goals will transform, you know, your outlook on things will transform, because you have already kind of embarked on this new beginning, this new approach, this new project, something new, or you will very shortly. You're about to. And again, you will know best what this is about, group number 3. But I feel some of you might either start, I don't know, a new Instagram page where you showcase your art or your music or just your photography, or for some of you it might be a collaboration that you start with someone. For some of you it might be you know, maybe even of writing a book, or doing something very creative, expressive, and starting out with that. And I feel you are about to leap into this. But also, again, I feel that that doesn't come from a very spontaneous place. You just decided yesterday you're gonna do that tomorrow. I feel that you've been sitting and brooding over this for quite some time, and now you're kind of, you know, making that leap, daring to take that jump. You want to do it, but in the end, remember that not everything is disclosed to you, but don't let that hold you back from doing it actually and pursuing that. So let's see what you could actually focus on. And let me take the Osho Tarot for this. A very interesting deck which basically combines traditional tarot and quotes from Osho. And if you're not familiar with his work, I strongly suggest you at least tapping into that. And I'm sure that you will find at least some pieces of his work that will somehow resonate with you or be interesting to you. But that's a whole another topic, and maybe I should do, though, a post about this on the blog or Instagram. So, because I really like that this deck has a way to combine the traditional meanings and symbolism in tarot that is used in the Rider-Waite deck and overall historically in tarot. And it's just reinterpreting that while staying true to it. So, a very interesting approach. And sometimes just showing kind of the B side of the card, you know, reminds me of those after tarot or before tarot decks that are out there, which I actually like very much, and I'm always playing with the idea of getting one. So, group number 3. What is the advice for group number 3? Okay. Oh, feel like these belong back in the pile. So we have the Outcast with the 5 of Pentacles. And the 5 of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck, again, I find it very interesting when cards pop out, particularly in a certain deck, because by now you might have seen that I have this practice of sometimes choosing a different deck for a different group or for a different section of your reading. And here, the 5 of Pentacles in this deck particularly, traditionally it's depicted with those 2 sick people being outside of the church, which is lit from the inside, and you can see the light shining through the glass stained windows. And here you have this child basically looking through that gate, and the chain is here. And the thing is that that child is so small enough it could slip through that gate basically. And it even doesn't get the idea of that. It is like keeping yourself in isolation and captivity, um, while you actually could end that. You could end that, but it would require um, sticking to something unorthodox within you, or with an unorthodox way of thinking, or an unorthodox idea. And we also have the Five of Cups here, and we have the Five of Cups here. So, and here we actually, it's very interesting. In this card, we have this human body, and then the head seems to be buried in this cube of concrete, which is painted with abstract imagery. And you know, it is embodying this energy of the Five of Cups, which is here consciously being turned towards the cups where which are, you know, fallen over and have spilled, wasted opportunity. Um, and behind that person actually are two cups that still are standing and might have, um, even if not exactly what they are looking for, but those are chances. There is still something in there. You could try, at least. You could try and see where that gets you. Instead, you decide to stay here with focus on what you have spilled and what is wasted and what is in the past. And you have it here in a position, by the way, it is reversed and it is in a beneficial position. So this is why I'm saying I feel like you are actually coming to terms with your past experiences. And this is also why I'm saying I don't feel that this project, this plan, this endeavor, and then this thing that you are onto, that is very spontaneous. I feel like you've been sitting on this forever, and you've been being very hard on yourself with this, and you've also been finding and coming up with reasons again and again and again why this will not work, why this should not work, why there's 101 good reasons not to start with that. And I feel that cycle is now coming to an end. And it will be a slow journey, but it will be one that will be rewarding. And if you agree to, you know, also with Ten of Swords here, if you agree to maybe let go of that very carved in stone, cemented vision of how things should be and how that result should look like, I feel like you will be rewarded with something very fruitful and very beautiful for you in the end with this project. So what I feel might sometimes stand in your way is either this thing with sticking to and basically, you know, keeping yourself captive and isolated from all that outcome awaiting you, um, by staying very fixated on why something should not work, why something should not be started. And on the other hand, also being maybe you also are someone who isn't, you know, it's not like your material well-being might be exactly or directly depending on this thing. And that is what might even decrease the pressure that you put on yourself in some sort. It sounds very bizarre, but if you are not pressed to do this, then you will always find excuses why not to. And it might even be that recently, maybe not something terrible, you know, not something terrible at all, but something happened. It might even be that unexpectedly you received actually some resources that you're like, I could put those into that project. Like, now that I've received that, why not? It actually might be the case for some of you. Let me see. Yeah, we have Venus here. You know, Venus, Aquarius, first house. Fits quite well. To be honest, yeah, some of you might have received, either some money, some cash back from something, or um, gotten gifted some money or equipment or something. Like it might be that some of you have surprisingly received some material resource for pursuing that thing that you've been always laying off and you've always been finding excuses for. And I feel that is, or if that hasn't happened, then it might happen in the close future for you. It might. And it doesn't have to be only money, it can be a different resource. It even could be a friend of yours offering you help with, I don't know, setting up your website and everything, like stuff that you would usually pay someone a few hundreds to do. And then you have this friend offering you that and being like, I feel like doing something for showcasing that cool idea I have, and I thought you wanted to make that project happen. You told me some time ago, and what about me setting those things up for you, because I have an interesting idea I want to try out, and I would make that for you for free because it's my idea that I want to um, turn into something. And if that speaks to you and that's appealing to you, maybe that's the deal. So it might be something simple as that. So there's some exciting things coming up for you. Group number 2, oh, group number 3, my God. Yeah, by the way, bottom of the deck, I don't remember if I was shuffling or not. No bottom of the deck for you today, unfortunately, for this section here. But I feel it has been clear enough. It has been clear enough, and I feel also with this thing here, really trust your intuition in this one. Trust your intuition, but go slow about it. And I'm sure your intuition is telling you, what if we would start in small steps, huh? Like, we would not make a huge leap, which is terrifying and might end in some very unpleasant stuff. But we could at least try to like tiptoe our way to that, couldn't we? So listen to that and don't find more excuses. So let's see how you can care for yourself best during the upcoming 7 days, because some exciting things are ahead of you. And I feel like you, group number 3, soon you will have to really take out time for your breaks and your regeneration. Because I feel for you, busy times are ahead. Maybe not the next week, but the next weeks, maybe also towards the end of cap season, or overall, maybe somehow get March. March might be an important time for you. So we got 4 cards here. Oh, even 5. You know what? I feel like that is just a bad shuffle. So let's see. So group number 3, how can they care for themselves? How can they take care? How can they take care? Okay, here we have it. But I feel like pulling 3 cards for you, group number 3. 3 cards for group number 3. Here we go. You get a bunch of cards. What is it today? There was one group where actually all of this spread came out like super dandy, super easy. And then when we went on to the oracle cards, my God, like I kept shuffling and I needed to do like then cutting the deck and stuff, and basically very weird. So you have Earth Magic, Fairy, you have Dreamtime, Creation, you have Clouds, Shapeshifting, you have Whale, Interruption, and you have Summer Solstice, which is basically, oh my God, how do I translate this well? So it is not exterior, but what you radiate, like your image, your vibration, your impression that you give off, basically. So but you get the idea. Like it's about, also in the card you can see the sun being like taking all over and being very radiant. So I'd say it's radiance. It's radiance, and it's but in a very extroverted sense, very much radiating, inspiring, nurturing, coming back with new light, coming back with fresh energy, with fresh ideas, starting a new cycle, like in the solstice. So we have this transition and these two extremes meeting in a sense. Like during summer solstice, we have this super long day where the sun is basically never entirely disappearing in some parts of the world. Like it goes below the edge, but it still keeps a small glimmer on the sky. It even doesn't go down fully, it doesn't disappear. So it outshines everything. And it's interesting that I got so focused on this card when pulling those. So with Fae and Earth magic, you have very much connecting to Earth energy. So I feel like for you, actually, gardening might be a very good thing to do. And I know it's winter, I know, but you could still care for your indoor plants or doing some preparational work or planting some little seedlings or just even getting your home plants into a good shape, caring for them, taking care, or just preparing things for that can be a very grounding for you and somewhat meditating. Creative expression, again, I get that that is not only like that kind of intertwines with this project thing. I feel, and also shapeshifting. Shapeshifting is a lot about adjusting, and also even you have the clouds here, you have the clouds and the Ace of Wands cards in this reading. It is very much about finding your way, tiptoeing your way to that result and vision. And here we have with the whale, this card speaks a lot about getting out of your comfort zone, trying out things that are out of your ordinary walk, your ordinary portfolio, that are something unusual, that are an enrichment to you and are maybe kind of giving a kickstarter to this creational aspect, to this creational growth that lies within all of this, but it is somehow still like there isn't this clear path which it should go down to come to full fruition, to come to this here, to outshine everything. It's interesting that all these cards kind of, they go into a journey. And you basically journey from this grounding, kind of getting into this energy, and then you go to this full fruition cycle. Very interesting. So group number 3, this is all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I enjoyed it to bits. I wish you a very productive and wonderful week, and see you in the next video. Bye.